Alright, this is Sean's story, chapter 32. Let's go. Maggie's belongings were included with Anela's and added to the luggage, which was stowed on the carriages. It had taken a week before all the politics had finally been settled. He personally asked questions about agriculture and animal husbandry. During that week, I had almost managed to introduce ground meat into the kitchen's resources. I'd also managed to introduce ground meat into the kitchen's resources, showing some of the kitchen men a few recipes that often adorned more affluent families' tables back home. Queen Nitre's reaction to the new dishes was truly pleasant to behold. Now, finally, we were returning home. Gotta make shepherd's pie, man. You gotta make shepherd's pie. Second you get ground beef, you make tacos, you make shepherd's pie, and you make... What's another really good, like, ground beef? Chili. Yep. Top 3 ground beef foods. And if you can name any more, please do, because I'm fucking starving. I'm so hungry. I wish I had some chili. Fuck. Oh. Carriages have been modified since our last usage. The royal smith was overjoyed at the plans for leaf springs and had worked extra hard to ensure that the 2 carriages we've been using would be modified prior to our departure. As a result, the speed of our trip increased. This is amazing, cried Missa. This is still slow. Probably knocked a day, maybe a day and a half from the total trip time. It's nothing special, I replied. James, none of us has ever traveled this fast. I think Missa's reaction is justified. Marta spoke in defense of Missa. I shrugged. It is, but compared to the vehicles I'm used to riding in, we may as well be a slug. Gabby tilted her head. What's a slug? An insect. See, that is such a child response. That's what they pick up on, right? An insect, but it doesn't have any shell. It's very slow, just sliding across the ground, no legs. Sort of looks like a dirty lump of snot, only larger than any lump of snot has a right to be. Their slime tends to stick to things too. Some of them can make you go numb if you're stupid enough to try eating them. One. The girl's lips both curled up and stuff. Ew! Cried Missa. 3 days into the trip. Not gonna lie, Sean, this sounds like a girl response, not a boy response. Maybe you should have them almost be intrigued by it, because boys love that kind of stuff. Like, they're grossed out, but, like, they're intrigued by it, right? Should be like, oh, I want to see one of them. I'm not sure. They just, to me, it seems very of a girlish reaction. So I don't, but that's up to you. Like, do you want that? Do you want them to feel more like tomboys? Because of the, like, the male-female dichotomy? Keeping that continuity, I'm not sure. 3 days into the trip. Is this corpse? Or is copse, like, copse, like, a group of trees? Never heard the word copse. But it says it's a word. So I just don't know what copse means. Smaller group of trees is a copse. Okay, cool. You learn something new every day. That's what I thought. It was like a bunch of, right? Like, you know, murder of crows. Copse of trees bordered the road. I tensed up in anticipation. This seemed like a good ambush point. So I wasn't too surprised to hear a tree come slamming down across the road. What was surprising was the fact that it fell behind our carriages. I laughed briefly. Not a forest or even an orchard, just kind of a spreading of trees. Yeah, I could see that. Like, you'd probably call that on, like, a golf course. Like, if you looked at it at a golf course, probably be a copse of trees. Because there's, like, maybe 30, 40 trees spread over, like, the entire course. But most of them are compacted in, like, the middle, and then, like, along, in, like, kind of a T shape. So it kind of goes in a line like that, and then a line like that, and then the course is kind of around it. Yeah, thick enough to block visibility in that area, but ultimately nothing. Yeah, okay. Cool. Cool. Copse of trees bordered the road. Tensed up in anticipation. Seemed like a good ambush point, so I wasn't too surprised to hear a tree come slamming down across the road. What was surprising was the fact that it fell behind our carriages. I laughed briefly. It's an ambush, but they misjudged our speed and cut the tree too late. See, I like the use of that. Like, the unanticipated, you know, we're used to this kind of thing, but they're not used to, like, the carriage being so fast, so it throws off everything. And it's, like, goes to show the consequences and, like, the consequences of action have a place, right? So there's, like, third order effects can actually happen. It's like a thought in the head that there is this causing this to happen. And just that introduction, I think, is probably one of the most powerful things about being a pantser. Because you just have the idea, then you roll with the idea, and then it stands on its own because of that idea. And in this case, it's introducing this as a faster wagon. Oh, but it's not that fast. Well, I guess it's fast enough. So it could be, what I would say is there might be even a capitalization point here, where you could do something with James's character. For, like, how did you say this? It's like prep? Like, how do I say this? Almost like an introspection point of being like, how even something he did out of selfishness had a net gain for good in the world. Yeah, something like that. Like the idea that, like, he is... I think it's more of like a time thing. Like the things that he... Okay, I guess the best way to say it is the things that he's done in the past to improve things have taken time to occur. And now he's looking at a moment where he's like, oh, something that I did actually had a practical effect, not only outside of what it was meant to be, but also a point of, what other things, like other type of introspections, lead from that line of thought? That's like, how many other things can I think of now that I haven't thought of that I've been thinking, you know, oh, there's only a future use for this, but it's actually like paid off immediately. And the only other one I can think of is like food, right? But that still took a little bit of time. So him being like proud and like even when I even when I do something for myself, it helps other people. And then he can turn to them and be like, this is what happens when you do the right thing. Or some sort of quib like that, just to kind of poke fun at it. Like, progressing in the right direction, this is a sign. And you can find these kind of signposts along the way to pick up on whether what you're doing is pushing you to be good or bad. And kind of like this little moment of life lesson, of introspection, of being like, huh, I never thought about that, but this, and this, right? I don't know, I feel like this could be a good moment to capitalize on that and show that James isn't fully, like this isn't, like, he had other things planned, but some things fall outside of his plan, and then you can start this as a spiral moment, because like you said, the Queen's betrayal or something like that is going to be like a big part of like chapter 35 or something like that. So like maybe have this the beginning part of where things start to go out of hand. Everything before has fallen into James's hands, and now it's like this one tiny thing, and it's even a positive thing, but it's outside of the scope of his thought. And then you start to slowly introduce other things that are outside of the scope of his thought until he's like, uh-oh, I didn't realize this. And then that moment comes to like the betrayal. And then he puts two and two together. And I think that might add more conflict to it, but I don't know how you did it. So that's just where my thought goes with it. I don't know what you think about that. But I think capitalizing on this being outside of his plans, even being in a positive way, is like, oh, well, there's other things that I haven't taken into consideration. And you want to put that in the reader's mind, that there are things that even James isn't. Have you heard of grout burgers? No, Sean, I have not. At least not that I know of. It's an ambush, but they misjudged our speed and cut the tree too late. Do we move on or take care of them? Nayla, Marna, Cora, and Tessel flew out of the carriage, weapons whipping out of sheaths as they moved. They attacked the royal carriages. It's a matter of course that we take care of them. It's assuming we wouldn't do it anyway. Nayla's smirk at my question informed me that she knew I was asking rhetorically. Jean followed after them, with her polearm in her grasp. Wish I had more ammo. I'll have to make do with this crossbow or fight unarmed. Gabby and Missa look tense, ready to join in the fray. You two stay out of this. Defend yourselves if you have to, but don't engage otherwise. But Dad, they both shouted in unison, no buts. You aren't trained. You'll only end up dead right now. Gabby, you can use your water magic from range if the opportunity presents itself. Maggie gripped a mace. Her body language showed clearly that she wasn't interested in fighting. Besides, someone has to keep Maggie safe. That somewhat mollified them. That's more like the expected reaction of, well, we want to help. Well, you're just gonna get in the way. Sorry, go help, defend, the one who's like a little more shy. She hasn't had as much time to open up, to get a grip of, the power that she has in the world. So now Gabby gets to be the big sister. The bandits, confused why we were behind them, were too slow to react to the change in battle. Gasps and screams of pain arose from them. It's ground beef, that's where the G comes from, and cabbage or kraut, which is where the route comes from. You fry the beef and cabbage, maybe with onions and seasonings, and you wrap it in bread dough and bake it, then you can take it in your lunch later. Oh, huh. Huh. Never had that. That sounds like a good time, actually, Sean. Like, I was thinking of it as like a homemade kind of like beef burger. Like, you take the beef and you press it together, and then you use like the kraut or cabbage with like breadcrumbs to hold it together. And then like onions and seasoning and stuff like that. Peppers. Whatever you want to stuff in. Cheese. God, I'm fucking hungry. Oh my god, I'm so hungry. Ugh. She let out a cry of pain and lost, oh wait, what, gasp and screams. An archer turned to face me, taking aim. I loosed a bolt from my crossbow, hitting her in the dominant shoulder. She let out a cry of pain and lost control of her bow, which snapped back at her face. It's the precursor to Hot Pockets, I swear. Mom made those for Dad's lunch when I was a kid. It would be a prime treat for that tech level. Nice. Sean, you know what I'd do? I'd open up, so I'd like half heat the pizza pops, or I would just like leave them out. True as fear. Welcome, welcome. How's it going? Smoke it, good sir. And then I would open them up, and I would add onions, I would add peppers, I would add ground beef, I would add more cheese, I would add bacon, and then I'd fold it back up and then reheat it. Oh, so good. And you can like dip it in some pizza pocket sandwich. Basically, you can add other kinds of meats in it and stuff. Like I've added ham in it before. I've added turkey, chicken. I've had like pulled pork, ribs. Like, I have put a shit ton of stuff in pizza pockets. I love experimenting with new things. And that's like the easiest way to do it. I wonder what like pizza pocket stuffed with spaghetti or lasagna would be like. I've never tried that. Stuffed inside of like a hollowed out piece of garlic bread. God, I'm so hungry! Fuck! Fuck! Ugh. There's been too much food in these stories, too much food talk. She let out a cry of pain and lost control of her bow, which snapped back and hit her in the face. That's funny, I love that. I just imagine that, and just like, ugh! It's like you're already injured, but then you're just like, boom! I've had that happen to me. Knife wielder beside her rushed me, thinking to take advantage of my reload time. I used the butt of the crossbow to smash her dagger away, only to swivel around in a roundhouse kick, knocking her out. A woman with an axe pulled her hand back to throw it at me, only for a ball of water to slam into her head and cling to it. She frantically tried to claw the water off, but all too soon her struggles stopped, and she fell to the ground, seemingly lifeless. From my perspective, that was the end of the battle. Only the archer survived, and she glowered hatred at us, only to finally spot the crest on the carriages and turn pale. Using her offhand, she attempted to draw her boot knife. Once it was in her hand, she attempted to slit her own throat. I snatched her wrist and twisted just enough to force her to release the blade. No, I didn't know. I swear I never would have joined a raid on a royal carriage. Please let me die now. Don't. I slapped her across the face, silencing her. Where is your camp? Speak quickly, and perhaps we won't bother to find out who your family is. For your mother had nothing to do with this mess anyway. Any sister you have likely is older and well established, an honest citizen, but you... With shame-filled eyes, she guided us to the camp, where as I had suspected, they were cages. Using my crowbar, I ripped the cages open, freeing several girls. To my surprise, a boy. Must be your version of a tomboy. Nayla came up behind me to see what I was talking about. Oh, a Briar girl. Wasn't expecting that. The boy looked daggers at Nayla, but then spotted me and really turned in my appearance. Marion will take the pie pumpkins and fill them with peppered bacon onions, then bake them whole. Pretty good, honestly. I was just thinking of doing the same thing with smaller pumpkins, only added nacho cheese. Ooh, pumpkins. That's insane. That sounds good. I was thinking like stuffed peppers, though. But that ups the game. A stuffed pumpkin. Ooh. A stuffed pumpkin with a stuffed pepper inside of it? Oh! Fuck! We're getting to levels of food that I'm gonna drool on myself. Totally doable. Yep. Oh, a Briar girl. Wasn't expecting that. The boy looked daggers at Nayla, but then spotted me and really took in my appearance. You're just like me, he cried in shock. Perhaps to some extent, let me guess. You got in a fight with your mother about how you dress and ran away, then got caught up in this mess. Am I close? He looked down. Mother died. She was the only one that let me wear the clothes I like. Gran wasn't going to have any of it, so yeah, I ran away. It's like the turducken. Turkey inside of a duck inside of a chicken. Or I guess it would be a chicken inside of... A duck inside of a chicken inside of a turkey. Because of sizes. It reminds me, do you remember... Did you ever watch Malcolm in the Middle, Sean? And it's the episode where Reese learns to cook. And Malcolm goes out to drink all night on Thanksgiving. And Reese is making, like... the turducken with like another fish, and it's like 8 things inside of itself, and it's like everyone's super excited to eat, and then Malcolm fucking pukes inside of it. There's a scene where he's like he needs to pull something out of the oven, and he has to use his hands because he can't find the oven mitts. He's like, where are the oven mitts? Where are the oven mitts? I have to pull it out now! Pulls it out, and he's looking around, and he's like, where do I put it? And he's like, move the oven mitts! Because the oven mitts were on the table. Good times. There was a bruise on his cheek, and I could tell the bandits intended to force him into a dress. Well, come on out of there. As far as I'm concerned, your gran can take a flying leap off a cliff. She put your life at risk over clothes. You're coming with us. We'll see if you want to stay with us after getting home, or maybe find another family to live with. One that will let you live how you want, but ensure you will be the best you that you can be. Despite being what they called a Briar girl, he slammed into me for a hug. Yes, please. Nayla deciding my offer to not hunt down the Archer's family was a just offer. Simply slit her throat. We broke the cages down so we could use their pieces as sleds behind the carriages. Then Marta used fire magic to remove the tree, and we piled everything else from the bandit camp onto the cage pieces. It took 3 hours to reach the nearest village where the girls we rescued found their families. Gabby and Missa kept beside the boy, hiding him from view while we were in the village. They took the duty of protecting him very seriously. We didn't stay in the village, opting to camp out under the stars instead of risking a confrontation with the boy's grandmother. His raccoon tail only relaxed when we were far out of town. Might want to tell us your name now, unless Briar Girl is something you actually like to be called. No, I hate being called that. I'm Matt. Well, it's really Matthias, but I hate that too. His expression reminded me of a bull, and I knew better than to push on the name. Matt it is. I have a few friends in my homeland with the name Matt, even one female friend, only in her case it was Matilda. Now I think on it, she was a tomboy too. She'd have fit right in here. Always liked getting dirty instead of wearing fancy clothes. Ain't that just what girls do? He asked, confused. I chuckled. Here, yes. Where I come from, you're dressed normally for a boy. If you wore a skirt back where I came from, people would laugh at you or think you like things you don't. Anything you wanted to do, but weren't allowed because it's girls' work. As if so, we'll get you set up. You can do anything a girl can do except give birth, but making a child takes both boys and girls. Neither can do it without the other. You mean it? Like maybe a hunting? His genuinely pleading gaze struck me to the core. Absolutely, I love hunting. When we get home, I'll buy you a hunter's bow, and we'll start training. You'll need a knife set, too. James has your back on this. James, what about when he wants to, women might look at him strangely if he can hunt. Shook my head. Any woman who's upset he can hunt isn't worth his time anyway. Matt needs to find a partner, not a dictator. Just look at Gabby and Missa. They both like him just fine. Girls blushed, but added, maybe we can learn to hunt together? Matt's eyes lit up. See? What did I tell you? Matt will find his soulmate, who will be happy that he can hunt. Who knows? Maybe she's going to be a professional chef, cook his game in her shop. Only the future will tell. Nice. Hell yeah, Sean. More! Give me more people! So now we have the Briar Girl. Another like him. He gonna change the way people think about things and the stigmas towards them. The more and more this kind of stuff happens, that's my thought. There's something about it, though. Like I said, that subtlety there to build up on. And like the gender affirming roles, right? The conversation, like, to me, what this reminds me of, Sean, is like Game of Thrones, when Arya is telling her story about how when one time Bran left his bow and arrow, and it was one arrow, and she was shooting, and after like 3 hours of shooting, and every time she had to go grab the arrow and come back and then shoot again, and then she finally got a bullseye, and when she got a bullseye above her, she heard, and it was Ned standing there. And it was like that moment of realization that the rules were wrong and that she wasn't wrong. And then if you look at like Ned's like older sister or younger sister or whatever, right? She was very much like Arya in that like adventurous tomboy way. And it's like that's a powerful image for a character to have in that moment, right? So I like the leaning into that. And especially with them as well. Like raising Gabby and Missa to not treat him weird for the way that he acts like an actual boy. And that's like leading to the teaching of the next generation, right?